Hey everybody, my name is Rick, and I'm gonna spend a few minutes talking about tmux. Go over how I use it, what my configuration file looks like, and some of my favorite tricks, some of the things I like doing with tmux. I've said before in, I think, the first or second one of these that I spent a lot of time using Scream, which is the precursor multiplexer. And what is that thing doing? And here, I'm going to put this in the chat, is basically a post on what the differences are between Screen and tmux. So for those of you looking at Screen and thinking, why should I go into tmux? Just go to this post and you can see some of the differences and why you might consider going to tmux. I think I went to tmux primarily because, like what somebody said here, let's see. Let me see here. Split frames horizontally. Yeah. One of the things that I thought about was Screen wasn't being as well as frequently updated as, say, tmux. And tmux was at the time pretty new, and so it was an opportunity to switch to something new that was going to be developed. And the main thing is that you can split your windows, which I think is pretty cool. And that's what we're going to get into, some of the things for how to use tmux. I'm going to try something here real quick. Is it this one? Yeah. Nope. Yeah. So how do I use tmux? Let's get into that. The general way is first of all, I've already started it. So here I've started tmux already. I have it set up so that when I'm on a Mac, when I start up the terminal, I think it was this one. I have it set up so that by default it does this. So by default, when I start a terminal, the very first thing it does is it does a tmux new session. Then I pass in the -a switch, which will automatically connect to any existing tmux session. Well, if you don't know what that looks like, that looks like this. If I click on the new window with this same profile of Pro, watch what it does. And you can see that this terminal here, this small one, is attached to this session here. And if I type pwd, I can see kind of like double listings here. If I click onto here, you can see that they're synchronized in some way. This is the client-server nature of tmux. But the point is, when I start a new terminal, I automatically attach to the tmux, maybe it's -help. Probably should have looked at this before. I'll get it. Nope, that's not it. Okay. If I go to new window here in the help, in the manual page, what you'll see is there's a switch called attach window -A, and that means it will attach to an existing tmux session. That's all that does. And so that's my startup of tmux. But generally what people do is, I didn't mean to do that. I'm going to close this terminal here. Generally what people do is they start a new terminal. I'll just use a basic profile here, no grass. And then they'll just start a new tmux session like this, tmux, and you can see this is a new session. And how do you know it's a new session? Because you can ask tmux list sessions. Very, very straightforward. And you can count the sessions there. And if I get out of this with Control D and exit completely, now you can see there's only one session, the one with the two terminals. So that's how to start tmux. Once you're in tmux, what are the things that you can do? One is you can create a new window. So if I exit this, if I do Control B and then C, that will create a new window. And the commands that you can type with this prefix, Control B and such, that's Control B and question mark. Control B question mark, which is help, lists all the different commands that you can do at your keyboard. And here's the one for create. So in tmux, to interact with the windows or the panes, which we'll look at in a second, you first need to invoke the prefix, which is Control B. Screen, when I was learning it, famously used Control A, and I got very used to Control A. And there are configurations that let you set the prefix of tmux to Control A, but I really wanted to use the default configuration as much as possible so that I can get used to the fact that, number one, tmux is very different from screen, and number two, it's the default, so I wouldn't have to map everything to say, things that I read on the internet to Control B, to Control A from Control B. So let's go and talk about these. So that was help, which is this, and you notice that there's a number here, 9/42. This is just showing the line numbers of what is being shown. So this here is line, I believe it's 9. So if I go all the way back up to the beginning, I'm scrolling up, pressing the up arrow. This shows that there's 42 lines worth of information, and this is the last line. And you see how it's showing 42 lines. So if I scroll down to the bottom, now I'm pressing the down arrow key. Eventually I'll reach the bottom, and this is this one here. Move the visible part of the window to the right. Control B to shift right. So actually I've never done that. Control B shift right. Okay, there's nothing visible there, but the control B and question mark is the help, and the help is very helpful. But what you really need to do is just practice pressing Control B and Control C to create windows on the fly. Once you have windows, I have here, let's do this, date and cal. When you switch to the next window, Control B and then N, you could see a different display. If you wanted to list your windows, the thing I like to do is Control B W, and this shows all the different windows that you have. Newer versions of tmux allow you to scroll up and down this list, and it gives you a sense for what are the things that are on this window. It actually has a little sort of preview on there. So I like that about with tmux, that you get a little bit of a preview window. Yeah, so we've covered how to create new windows, we've covered how to get help, and we've now covered how to list all of your windows. One of the things though is, how would you layer the calendar display into another window? Say you're doing something that takes a long time, like I don't know, I'll do something very simple, like I'll go to this page here. I think I have here, yeah, Wordle. Nope, I'll do trying to think of a good one here. Yeah, this browser 30 lines, and if I look at this, if I do browser.swift, this will fire up a little browser written in the Swift computer language. So let me close this, and let's see it do that first. So here's the browser, but you notice that the window is now blocked because this browser is up and running. If you want to make a new window in this same window, it's actually not a window, it's called a pane. And you can create a new pane using Control B and the letter V, as in vertical. You can also do this horizontally. So if I go to the previous window, which is this, I can do Control B and then S. V stands for vertical, but S, I'm just gonna guess, stands for straight, as in straight line. But I can't even remember now these things. But what happens when you see this is, yeah, CD. When you see this pane, this line, you can then click Control. You can go between the two by typing Control B and then the up arrow. Or if I go to the previous window, you can do Control B and then the left arrow. But when you're in this pane, you can't really do anything because it's running a program right now. But that's why you would have panes, so that you can interact with another window while looking at the contents of this current window. One thing for people who are really into it, you can then split panes even further. So you can do Control B, S, and that'll do a third pane all in here. And then you can also move back and forth between them. So now I can go into that project's browser 30? Yes, Swift. No, browser 30 lines. Then we can look at this we could look at this code here, this Swift program. Clearly the pane is not big enough, and you can resize the pane, but I use a shortcut called Control B and return. When I do Control B return, what tmux will do is it will resize the panes automatically based on some configuration that it has. So Control B return just loops through a set number of configurations, and I just find it convenient. You can flip through them until you find a configuration that looks good, and then leave it. That you can, of course, increase things by, I think, saying Control B and then I think it's Option up arrow. Nope, that wasn't it. Say Control B and then Shift up arrow. Nope. So I'm going to go to the help. I'm going to say Control B question mark, and I'm just going to search for the word pane, and there's going to be something here to resize the pane. And yeah, meta up. So Control B and then meta, which on the Mac is an escape key, and then up. Maybe, hang on, let me do this. Control B. Nope. Oh, wow. Control B. Nope. Okay. Well, I don't know how to do that. Maybe this is why I'm doing the Control B enter sequence. I'll have to get back to you on that, and it'll be interesting if people do know how to do it. Just please tell me in the comments. But I'm, again, showing you just the general things that I do, and for me, it's enough to toggle between the different panes. You saw in the help that I did a search within the help. To initiate a search, when you're in the help mode, you can just press the slash for the help mode. But before I go too far with that slash business, I just search for the word client here. The tmux commands set up so that the bindings are a lot like VI. VI is the great command line editor on Unix. Its rival might be Emacs, but there's so many other newer graphical editors. But if you're on a Unix terminal, you're generally using VI or Emacs of some sort. There's other smaller ones like Nano and I think Pico, small ones, but I'm a VI person. That's what I learned in college, and it's just been an editor that's been available since then. The keyboard sequences that I'm following, I did Control B here, are based entirely on VI, and I will now jump to showing the configuration. Well, here I can do vim tmux.conf, and I hope this thing is available. This is the gist that shows how to do a very basic tmux configuration that is geared for Vim. So this does still work, and I am going to put this into our chat here, and it's you can read it for yourself. The main thing is this: the mode keys. I think that was the main thing. And then, yeah, here are the different ways to do splitting. And I wonder if there's even a resize here that I'm forgetting about. I should really look at this. When you look at my particular copy, it's not this one has 89 lines. Mine is only 30 because I've really only needed these settings here. I'm going to skip over this part here. This is the main one that I needed, but here is maybe it was this one. Yeah, the split windows and panes. Yeah, V and S, and then yeah, these keys to go backward. These keys to go to the left, right, down, or up. They're also mapped to VI keys. Here's the enter to display the next layout, and yeah, so interestingly, when you have split up your windows using different panes, if you do Control B W, you can see again the view of the panes, pane 0, pane 1, pane 2. But if you press right arrow, you get to see the different contents. Same thing if you go up. I just press the left arrow. Here I'm going to press the right arrow and then press the left arrow. Down arrow, right arrow, down arrow, so on and so forth. And I'm generally spending time in front of a IDE these days, either Xcode or at work it's VS Code, and I'm spending time looking at maybe one terminal window that has a VI window in it. I'm generally not splitting up my things with panes like this. One other thing that's mildly interesting is that I'm going to the different panes using the mouse. So here on the Mac, I'm just pressing the first key, the left mouse button press. Then here I do left mouse button press, and you can take a look at the highlight of the pane border. That's when you know that you've switched over. I'm going to press Control. So those the main things I wanted to show with regards to panes. The fact that Control BW makes it look a little different. One thing that I really like doing is if I decide it'd be really cool if I could start a new window and I want it to already run a command, you can do so by saying tmux new window and then give the name of the command. So here I'm going to shell into that free shell, and the command shows here I'm in a new server, that same free shell server, which is this one, which I wanted to mention this the last time. SDF.freeshell. Yeah, this one. Yeah, it'd be good to check that out if you are really interested in doing terminal stuff. But the key is that I did tmux new window, and it creates a new window where the command is an SSH command, which I think is pretty cool. There's another variation that I do, which is to start the command, give it a name, give it a name, and give it, this is the name, this is the name, T for title, and give it a number. So this will say, start this on window number 8 and give it the title of MA. And I've already messed it up. Yeah, I think it was minus. Yeah, I think I had it correct the first time. It's N for the name and T for the window number. So if I do this, there it gives it a name of MA and a T target of the number 8. And why is the target number important? Well, it's important because maybe you'll always have, say, for example, htop running on number 9, for example. Let's do that. tmux, new window. So now here you have htop running on number 9. What that means is that you can do Control B and a number, in this case 9, to go directly to your htop display. So if I wanted to go to that first SSH, I can do Control B and then 2, and then you can do Control B and then 9 to get to your htop. It's just small things like this that make it fun to work on this. I'm going through my list to see if I've covered the basics. There's definitely a lot of other YouTube that talk about different ways to use tmux that a little more comprehensive, a little more well polished, honestly. But this is a live stream of just me going over just the basics that I use tmux, the basics of how I use tmux. I think the main thing I wanted to leave you with was my favorite tricks. There's only 3 here. What I like is, I'm going to Control C out of this, is I'll exit out of this too. What I have really started to get into is terminal, is bash command line completion. The shell I'm using is bash, and it has this concept of command line completion. So if I type in the word ls and I press dash and I press tab. Oh man. Okay. Command line completion simply allows you to complete the command based on the command that you've typed on the terminal. So in this case, I have tmux as a command line completion. So if I type tmux and I press tab, it shows all the different tmux commands. So this is command line completion for tmux. Trying to remember, I think it comes with the package minus L. Oh, that's not dpackage. I'm on Ubuntu. I mean on the Mac. I think it's Brew. Wow. What I was trying to figure out is whether I installed it separately. Chances are I did not on the Mac. Yeah, so here are the files for tmux, a binary and a completion, but I did have to install it though in my bash profile. Or not. Maybe I didn't put it there. Oh, because it's in the correct location already. So yeah, so I have bash completion set up to pick up all of its completion files from a certain directory, and because of that, I can do things like new and then press slash tab, and it'll say that the only commands with the word new in it are new session and new window. I can also do tmux list dash and then tab, and you can see the different options here. Here's keys, here's panes, here's windows. So command line completion for tmux, I think using the tmux command is a good way to increase your capability with tmux, because there are a lot of interesting commands. A lot of the advanced uses involve using the different commands. The other trick number 2, is that there's a clock in tmux. So you could say Control B and then T, and it'll print the time. Here it's 8:10 p.m. So I like that. I like the clock there. And the third trick finally is one that I've actually only picked up recently. So this is that other window where there are 3 panes. I'm going to Control C out of the browser, and I'm in this situation where I don't know what directory I'm in anymore. So I can say pwd here, but what about this? What directory is this? Okay, and what about this? What directory is this? It turns out that tmux has this very powerful command called synchronized-panes. And to invoke that, you do this. And I'm going to put this into our chat. I wonder if I'm curious what it'll write. So, set W synchronized-panes. When I press enter, you can see it got a little bit of a red border now. But if I type pwd, it will submit those keys to all of the panes that I have. So pwd, and now you can see that this one has users rick, this one has browser 30 lines, and this one has browser 30 lines. Now you will need to recognize that I'm using the Control B : switch. That puts you into the tmux command mode, where you can type in things like set W synchronized-panes, and I think it's unset. I'm gonna check this real. Unset. Nope. Okay, now I don't know how to turn it off. Let's figure that out. Set W. Yeah, set W. Yeah, okay, yes. Set option minus G, and let's do unset. Yeah. Yeah, so if I do customize mode, I don't know about this. Yeah. So I don't know how to turn off synchronized-panes, but I do know that I like using synchronized-panes. And because if you do find yourself in a situation where you have to be open into a set number of panes and you need to send the same commands to each of those panes, you can just, it just opens your mind. It just opens up the possibilities when you do that. And if you're administering a number of servers, in my case, sometimes that happens. I want to be on 3 different servers and I want to type the same commands. You can do that with synchronized-panes pretty easily. You'll just have to look up how to unsynchronize the panes, and maybe I'll figure that out and talk about it another time. But I didn't mean to talk as long as I did on these things, but that's my general approach with tmux. It's straightforward. I'm using it mostly to create new windows so that I can just save on terminal space and the number of terminals that I start up. But there are a lot of fantastic utilities within tmux that make it a little more, that make working on the command line a little more comfortable. So I think it'd be interesting if people had any feedback. You could send me a comment here on YouTube or email or Twitter, however you want to do it. I appreciate that for sure. And I also appreciate you checking out this video. Thanks for looking at this. Take a look at the YouTube description. I'll update it once I finish indexing the contents. And that's how I use tmux. Thanks again for checking this out, and we'll catch up with everybody next time.